Welcome to Inspired by Design, the podcast where we explore the tools, stories, and insights to help you rediscover your authentic self and navigate life with less resistance. I'm Katie Rupert, a former hustle and grind overachiever on a thrilling and messy journey. I'd love to share what I'm learning and help others in self-discovery using human design. So if you're seeking a way to move forward, let me be your weekly mindset coach and share stories to inspire you to action towards your unique purpose without the force or burnout. Hello, welcome. I'm so excited about today because we had some questions come in. I've picked 3 of them from the Google Forms, and we're going to answer those human design questions today. So stick around so you can hear all 3, because I'm pretty sure everybody can get something from these questions. So thank you to all who sent these in. And I'm really excited to give this free mini session away as well. So I didn't get a chance to put all the names in. I want to double check that I didn't miss anyone. And so with that, if you are listening to this and you don't have your entry in to win, make sure that you review the podcast, that you send in a question, or that you watch the replays of the masterclass that I did. So we're just finishing up. Actually, as I'm recording this, today is the last day. It's our final Q&A day. So it was 3 separate recordings. We talked about mindset. We talked about nervous system regulation, some tools that you can take that are free. And then I talked about human design, and I had a extra special bonus in there. And one of the things that those who were part of the masterclass got access to was a pilot experiment that I'm doing. It's a 6-week clinic where you can journey to self-discovery using these tools that have helped me so much. And so what that looks like is you can sign up and get 3 one-on-one mini sessions with me. And that could cover everything from a human design reading to life coaching to your Ayurvedic dosha type for creating energy, calm, dealing with overwhelm, and then 4 group sessions where you can learn from others and take insights from those group calls. So that program is actually set up for those that attended the masterclass or those that watched it in a replay before Thursday, the 12th of June. So if you're listening to this in real time or before June 12th, then definitely either text me the word replay and get all 3 episodes so you can watch them and catch up and take advantage of it. Or you can just email me. Those replays will be available until Thursday, June 12th. And if you are curious about this 6-week coaching journey with me to lighten your load through self-discovery, then you'll want to make sure that you get the details on that through that masterclass, because I'm doing the price for less than what you'd pay for a custom human design reading for me. So it is a no-brainer. All right. So today we're going to be talking about these questions. So let me tell you the questions and then we'll kind of dive into each. The first question was, how does human design inform the processing of emotions like grief and anger? The second question that came in, can childhood trauma influence someone's human design? And the third, what if I don't like or resonate with my human design chart? Can I change it? So those are the 3 questions we're going to tackle today. And I'm excited about this. I think these are really great, insightful questions. So if you have other questions that you're curious about, maybe as you listen to the answers of these, use that link in our show notes and submit your question. You can submit it anonymously. You can submit it as with your name. It doesn't matter to me. I just love knowing what it is that you want to understand better, especially about human design. So the goal here today is going to explore how human design can give you these insights to emotional processing or personal alignment. And that really seems to be the gist of where these questions are coming from, even though they came from 3 different people. So with emotional processing, this question about how does it inform things like grief or anger? So it's important to notice that about 50% of people have an emotional authority, meaning they're going to experience emotional waves that they're going to need to wait and find clarity before they make a decision. If you haven't listened to the episode about inner authority, you definitely want to go back and figure out like what one is yours so that that can inform a little bit. But the overall gist of the answer to this question is, first, if you know you're an emotional authority, it's going to be a little different than if you are a non-emotional or an open solar plexus in your human design chart. So all you need to know about that is the little triangle on the right-hand side of your chart. If it's colored in, then when you are processing emotions and looking at specific to this question, processing things like grief and anger, how does this influence? What you want to be certain of is that you don't take the first hit of emotion as the truth, as your answer, as a decision. You're going to experience things in a wave from, ugh, I don't want to do anything, I'm depressed, to, oh my God, I want to do everything, and this is amazing, and I want to say yes to everything. So getting to know and really getting in tune with when you feel neutral. So, okay, I'm experiencing grief, I'm experiencing shame, inform it, sit with it. Don't be in a rush to figure out what it means and where it came from, because as an emotional authority, this is more than 50% of people, there's no clarity in the now. So asking yourself, why do I have this emotion and what's wrong with me? It's not going to help you. It's not going to serve you. So that is probably the most important thing to understand is, are you an emotional or not? Now, on the flip side, let's say that solar plexus is clear. It doesn't have color, and you might call that a non-emotional in human design. These are people that receive emotions, and the dial is turned up. It's really loud when someone shares about their grief, anger, or any emotion that they're, even joy. People that don't have that emotional center filled in, that color in their chart, they're going to receive it like almost as a blow, like, whoa, that is a big emotion. And what a non-emotional needs to do is really ask themselves, is this my emotion, or did I pick this up from someone else? And then another thing that can influence the emotions and processing of them is your type. So generators and manifesting generators, they're going to need to pay attention to frustration, because frustration is something that's just a cue, a red flag that they're out of alignment. And it isn't necessarily, I'm frustrated and this means that. It just means, hey, generators, manifesting generators, this is frustration. And instead of just focusing on the frustration, focus on moving towards your green flag of satisfaction. What is going to make me feel satisfied? So it's not even about processing emotion as a vibration. And I know I talk about this analogy a lot, but instead of taking emotions in and holding them like a sponge, which is super important, it's just not the human design language, right? We're talking about specifically like, how can I use human design to process emotions? So you want, of course, to let emotions flow through you like a window screen instead of taking them on like a sponge. But as a generator or manifesting generator, just know you're going to experience a lot of frustration and a lot of satisfaction. And those are your red and green flags. And every type has this. So for projectors, you want to look and really get in tune with what bitterness or resentment feels like when you're not recognized. And also, what is it like for you to feel successful? Each type has a red flag, a green flag that show you I'm in alignment. I'm using my human design chart, and that is going to help you more easily process the emotions. For manifestors, if you're a manifester, you want to pay attention to when you feel angry. Maybe if your freedom, your autonomy is restricted, or someone's telling you what to do, you're going to feel these anger feelings. That's your red flag. So what is it that would help you feel more peaceful? You're moving towards peace. For reflectors, your red flag feeling is disappointment. So when you're noticing you feel disappointed, get really in tune with that and look around, use your environment to move towards surprise and delightful feelings. So I know that is super high level. I think it would be really cool to take your human design chart, either doing a one-on-one reading with me, or like if you've already done a reading, for example, we could just take this question and look at the potential you have for pitfalls when it comes to believing things that are not true about yourself or blocking you from processing emotion. If you're always getting stuck in the red flag emotion and it blocks out all of the other emotions that you're meant to experience and have flow through you, like that window screen, that's where human design can kind of point, hey, you're definitely going to have this red flag emotion, but it's not about why is that happening. It's about looking to your design and what your strategy is for navigating your energy, your decision making, and who you are meant to be authentically showing up as yourself. So I hope that that helps with that question. I guess the other thing I might say to this is, in your chart, there's this propensity to be conditioned by the world that's not like you. It's not meant to be for you. And so we haven't dug into that too much on this podcast, but I think I've mentioned like the root center, for example. If you have that undefined, you're going to feel pressure from the outside and you're really not meant to work on someone else's deadlines. So human design can give you some tools, some tips, some enlightenment on how you can do regular self-reflection in a supportive way, in a way that isn't just a cookie cutter way that, some TED Talk said this is going to work for everyone, right? It's not some blanket solution for everyone. It will give you specific things that will help narrow down, what is it that I should be asking myself? How can I reflect on this mindfully? I do think it points to where you can be more mindful, be more aware, both with the red and green flags that I mentioned, but also just when you look at your chart, like, where are your gifts? Are you spending more time in your gifts? Or are you spending more time in your not self, the things that you don't always have access to? And, making sure that you're in environments that support you, in relationships that support you, that's going to be a big deal. And like, for example, what I was thinking specifically is you can do a compatibility chart reading, or just look at one person's chart and the other and notice the differences, notice the strengths and the areas that you might bump heads. And that can really help when looking at emotions or processing or letting go of them if it doesn't feel good. All right, let's move on to this question about childhood trauma. So can childhood trauma influence someone's human design? And what we'll find here is it's got a lot to do with what I said in the last question. So human design is representing one person's individual energetic makeup at birth. All right. It's a tool for understanding the tendencies or potential that you have for leaning into your gifts. It doesn't tell you who you're supposed to be or what you need to be. It tells you here's the potential of gifting that you could step into and really work towards. And also here's the potential to fall. And so trauma is not going to alter your design. Your design is your design. And spoiler alert, third question, right? It can, however, trauma can impact the expression. So each one of us has these 9 energy centers that represent gifts, potential that we have in our energetic blueprint of who we are. And there can be a healthy side to that, and there can be an unhealthy expression to that. So, hopefully that makes sense to you. It's like anything can be that way. You've probably heard people say, my greatest gift is also my greatest weakness. So like people pleasers, they're super helpful, right? They're helpful. They care about other people. They have this altruistic, like genuine wanting to help other people. And yet it also can really create self-abandonment, and it can create areas where you're blind or where you're pushing help on someone that didn't ask for it. So there's that healthy side of it. I want to help people. And there's the unhealthy. I'm pushing my help on people and losing myself in the meantime. So when you look at your chart and you're coming in with the experiences that you've had, especially trauma, you might be more prone to falling to that unhealthy side and thinking that's normal. So, for example, a projector, they might struggle with recognition due to early experiences of being overlooked. Maybe they were the quiet one and they didn't really speak up for themselves. And so that trauma compounds the struggle for a projector. And they might not even be able to see their gifts or see how that could be true for them. A manifester might suppress their initiation, like putting their ideas out into the world, because maybe from trauma, they were told their ideas aren't good, or they shouldn't talk, they should be silent. Maybe they were told to stop doing their own thing and listen. And then they got like that suppression and totally disconnected from the belief that they are actually meant to create ideas and inform the world about them, that is a valuable thing and a gift that they have. For generators, it might be overworking so much to seek validation or self-worth that they didn't get because of their childhood trauma. And all they're trying to do is push and overdo their gifts or overfunction. And all they're doing that not to give to the world and do things that light them up, but maybe it's to seek the praises of other people. And then they find themselves frustrated or wondering why they don't like their life anymore. So I hope that that is some insight into how trauma can influence. And of course, understanding your design as a big picture, and then eventually digging into what are my gifts and do I resonate with them? Do I resonate with the healthy side of that gift or the unhealthy side? Sometimes also called the shadow of it. That could be a really neat self-discovery journey. And I will say that this is something that I use human design for. And no one, knowing that's almost 40 years old, is unscathed with no trauma. So I've been identifying childhood things, identifying ways that I've gone to that unhealthy side of some of the giftings of my chart. And just the awareness alone is so helpful. It's so practical to look at the design chart and then try it out, instead of this pulling something from the air and wondering if that's the answer or some other's experience. It really is cool that it can be pretty custom. And I guess the last thing I should mention is that human design is a tool, and it's not a cure or an answer to something. It is something that you can use as a tool to help guide, just like other therapeutic modalities like somatic work, EMDR, and counseling, yoga, breath work, energy healing. Human design is in there. And working with a coach like myself or a life coach that is informed with human design, it can really be that fast forward button to understanding yourself and kind of knowing where to start. It will give you some big, like, flashing lights of, this is probably where you're struggling. And then you check it to see if that's true. And then you can work on what we call deconditioning in the human design chart. I hope that's helpful. All right, last one. Let's say you don't like your design, or you read it and you're like, ew, I don't want to be that one. I don't want to be that type. The most common reason that you might feel that way is that society has conditioned you to want to be a different way, or you have idealized someone in your life and they're a different type, or they act in a certain way. And you're like, I don't like mine. Mine's not good. That's too much, whatever it is. So your misalignment might be due to just your experiences in life, or a lot of times, I betcha, it's misunderstanding, because each one of these types, the inner authorities, the personality, they are amazing. And if you get to know and really understand your design and how unique it is and how they work together, it is one of the most beautiful things. And I can't even tell you how fulfilling it is for me. It feels like my work in doing one-on-one readings or workshops, when I see people look at their design and something clicks in them. I mean, I got chills right now just thinking about this. When they feel validated at such an inner deep level, because they understand what the design is saying, and they just already know what I'm telling them is true, and it's always been true for them. And it gives them a practical step that they can test it out with, it's like an answer that they've been looking for that they already had. That's the thing that just blows my mind. If you understand your design, I can't imagine that you wouldn't like it. You really dig deep. It's a blueprint for you. It's so personal. And there may be lots of reasons. The other thing that might be happening if you don't like your design is just a desire to fit into a certain role that you've idealized, or expectations that have been put on you, and you just take them on as your own, or I'm supposed to be this, or I'm supposed to act like this. And that person doesn't seem to, that energy type doesn't seem to be like that. And so if you're in that place where either you don't really resonate with your design based on what you've learned so far, and you haven't had that one-on-one reading, educate yourself on your design, the strengths of it, the challenges of it. Sometimes it might just be that it's too true and you don't like those unhealthy sides of it. And you're like, I don't want this. But just know that just like relationships, just like anything else, there's going to be that no matter what your type is. And you can experiment with living according to your strategy and authority. So if you look at your chart, you're not sure, give yourself this very lighthearted trial period to just try on your design and use specifically your strategy and authority. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, go back to the episode where I explain the types, or the 6-week experiment coaching journey that I've put together. I talked about at the beginning of the episode. That would be a perfect container for you to experiment with, try your strategy and authority, and try it on without any expectations of, I have to like my design. Just trying it with some support might be really cool. Plus you get all that like custom information. So you're not having to do all the research to figure out what your gifts are and such. And then integrating your design, whether you like it or not, it's probably going to be really valuable to you. But in a nutshell, you can't change your design because you can't change the time you were born. So it is what it is. All right, let's wrap this up. I want you to explore and understand your human design with curiosity and compassion. This is a tool that you need to decide if it's something that you like, that is going to be supportive for you, or if it's just some fun information. You like listening to these episodes because it's intriguing. Either way is fine. If you haven't yet, download the Human Design Guide, run your chart, see what you think. If you haven't done the human design reading, you could start with that. There's many sessions available for a little less cost. And then again, if you check out the replays of the masterclass before June 12th, you can actually get a 6-week training and support from me as your coach to experiment with human design for 6 weeks for less than the cost of one reading. I have lots of other resources. If you haven't joined the Inspired by Design with Katie Rupert Facebook group, that's something that you could also do. Here's your homework for the week, if you so choose to consider. Reflect on your own experiences with your emotions and how you process them now. So based on that question, do you like the way that you process emotions? Do you see yourself more prone to avoiding emotions, feeling like emotions are truth, or you have to find reasons why? Consider where you are now. And I would also love to invite you to consider your design and apply that to how you're processing emotions or trauma, and see if you can find some things that you want to make into a goal, right? This is an area that's unhealthy and that I struggle with. I'm going to pick this to focus on. That would be a personal journey thing, but it is really nice when it's specific to you. I would love for you to check out the replays of the masterclass. There's a lot of great things in there that you don't necessarily get to go as in depth on with this podcast. Make sure you do that before the 12th when those replays go away. I want more questions. What other questions do you have? Submit them now. Just go over the show notes, check out that little Google form, pop in your question. It can be something very small or it can be complex. I don't care. I love having questions from you, and my design tells me that when people ask me questions, I become a genius because I have a lot of information, but sometimes I need someone to ask the question in order to know how to share my wisdom. So you're helping me too. All right. Well, I will talk to you next week, or maybe see you over on the masterclass or that new 6-week journey to lighten your load clinic that we're starting here in June.
Thanks for tuning in to Inspired by Design with Katie Rupert. If today's episode sparked something in you, I'd love to hear about it. Share your takeaways, subscribe, or even leave a review to help others find the show. For more tools and insights, visit my free Facebook group. And until next time, keep embracing exactly who you are and move forward one inspired action at a time.